care to?
All right, just so we avoid that next time.
Okay.
What we're talking about is changing the use permit on the building from a volunteer fire station, to a community center. We passed planning and zoning with some variances. Those variances evidently ran into some problems with the interpretation as to what was being asked to not be completed at the time of the acceptance. Are you guys all familiar with what a variance is?
Yes.
We asked and got from the planning and zoning was to not complete the paving of the parking lot at the immediate time. Correct? Guys all agree about that? There's a certain group that came out and had a problem with the variances that we ended up with. So planning and zoning agreed that that was a little bit too much to handle at the time to allow us not to have to complete the entire parking lot. And remember the difference between the parking lot and parking spaces. I think that was a huge debate here. I told you guys I will pave the parking spaces. I will pave the parking spaces. That's 13 spaces. That's 100 feet on each side of this building. That will be done. That is in planning and zoning's acceptance. A 100 by 20 foot skirt on the outside of this building. They allowed us to have a variance to not complete the pavement, the rest of the area, another, 20, 25 feet out to the road until that road is paved. Okay? And if you would like to see the minutes from planning and zoning, that's when that occurred. When we came out, Chairman Craig Brown stated, the first thing he stated to everybody was that the only thing they were going to do at that meeting was accept or decline the recommendation of planning and zoning, correct? Did everybody hear that? That's all that was going to be done at that meeting, was to accept or decline it. So it was open to the Browns or to the people, and then he came up and there were quite a few people that had a problem with the variance, wanting the entire parking lot paved evidently, or wanting more than what was required. The requirement that it appeared to have come up to the board was that we only had to do the ADA requirement, 2 spaces right out front. That was what they had come up with from what we had asked. And if you would like a copy, or if you'd like me to read what the variance was that we requested, I can do that also. I can show you what that is. Remember that the variances are, they're like a chip, a bidding chip. You ask for something, they tell you no. My biggest disappointment at that meeting is that the system wasn't allowed to be completed. He said what was necessary. What we were going to do is then vote yes or no on the recommendation from planning and zoning. And then the floor was opened up, and there were some people who didn't agree with what was presented by our presenter, Ms. Stewart, did an excellent job. She presented it, the people spoke, and then the board should have voted. They needed to vote yes or no, or they needed to, as they did with the one prior to us, were you there? They had to remove the word permanent. You know, that's what they're allowed to do. So that was not allowed to complete its process. What they needed to do was say yes or no with another stipulation. You know, we need to go back and forth with that. You know, we need to get the building switched over for the use permit. That's the number 1 goal. I hope everyone agrees on that. That's the number 1 goal. What I need to do with them next time is go out and try and define these stipulations. And I want to know from you guys which part of those stipulations is the hurdle, because it will not work out if we go and try and do the same thing and a group of people come up and don't like the stipulations. You know, if you want this entire parking lot paved, which everybody does, that's not going to happen right now. That can't be a stipulation in here that we complete that. That is $64,000. What we can do is complete the required parking spaces for the amount of people allowed to be in this building. What this building accepts, according to the planning and zoning and to the building department, how many people can be in here and how many spaces that requires. If that's what you guys want me to put in those stipulations, we can have that in there. What I was looking for is them to decline what we, just the 2 ADAs, and then tell us that that's what they want. No, we're not going to let you only get away with the ADA requirements there. We want you to do 13 parking spaces, which is what's required for this building of this size, with what we're asking to be a community center occupancy load. And then when they suggest that and they write that down, that's what we go by. If you guys would like that to be in to begin with, that's why I want to start with them, so that we don't run into that again. That's why I'm here. I'm asking you what you want to be in that first one, because they renew them they actually renew them every time that they would like it. They can set their own schedule. If you guys have a problem with renewing it every 2 years, tell them to renew it every 6 months. So they just looked at it again and again. If you want things to be completed at different time frames, that's one of the things that they can put in their stipulations. The stipulations can be molded to whatever we need it to be, but we need it to become a community center first. Number one priority, we have to get that done. If that's not done, everything we just talked about, the dates set for November and December and all that, those things are going to get harder and harder to get done. So, you have a question?
I think the problem was that the way that I read it was that you only had to do 2 spaces.
Correct.
And
that
wasn't my understanding from you guys, that you guys were going to do all 12.
Correct. And if you look at planning and zoning's minutes, I tell them in the minutes, I am doing a 100 by 20 foot skirt on the east side of the building. It's in the minutes from planning and zoning. It did not get transferred over to the minutes for the other one, but it's in the minutes. And I told you guys I would do it too. I will do that. It's kind of hard for me to understand how I was getting beat up, almost essentially being called a liar on something that I wasn't allowed to complete. You can't call me a liar for something I didn't do in the future. I said I'm going to do those. Allow this to occur. If I don't do them, then yeah, I'm a liar, and they're going to come and say, you're not completing your use permit or your variance, you're not doing that. We need to start all over with, putting a red tag on the building. We need to do this, that, and the other thing. But those times restraints can be put in the variance. There's a big separation. When I go and meet with him, I need to know what I'm going to ask him so that it doesn't run into things that are being said all over the rest of the town. Are you guys comfortable with a 100 by 20 foot skirt on the front of this building? And then from there, the stipulation would be if they complete or improve Marblehead, we have to make the proper connection to that. I am going to keep you guys in the loop from each of these processes. You guys will know if that is completed, if that goes past and we get our special use permit for the community center. We then have to go and get our permits. Those permits are available. You will see exactly what we put on the permits. You'll see exactly the size of the skirting. You'll see the sheetrock, the construction. You'll see what we have to do. And that's something, if you want me to bring it to every meeting, I can bring that to you every meeting. And all those things, remember, we'll have a time constraint on them. And that time constraint could be a year, 2 years, and it can be looked at over and over again. So I'm fishing around here so that when I go and talk to Steve and we figure out our next, what we want to submit to the Board of Supervisors, that it doesn't run into a roadblock again and we don't get a vote. That was my biggest disappointment, that it wasn't allowed to go full circle. I would have walked out of there just fine with a nay, with a vote saying, no, we don't agree with that. You need to go back and do something again. Because now I don't know what they want. So I'm here asking you guys what you want, because they were listening to you guys. So, first, I can.
Okay, yes, we are comfortable with you paving those spaces, and that's what we wanted. But there was a lot of confusion within the county themselves, too.
There was.
There was.
About
That's-
the parking spaces.
Correct.
The parking lot.
Correct. I know there was confusion, and that's probably why it didn't go forward.
Yes, and that was, and I was baffled, and you saw me walk away from there like, where is this coming from? Yes, sir.
There seemed to be a little communication problem within our group too.
And as far as,
Well, the numbers seem to be kind of swayed between you guys.
the numbers as far as how many, or how, the numbers of size of parking lot.
I don't think one of you knew what you guys really had planned for something. Seemed to be some communication.
Well, like any group, there's people who are a little hotter than others. There's some that want to, when being attacked, want to attack back, and there's some that want to lay back a little bit. There is no confusion as, you know, this is exactly what we turned in, an exact copy of what we turned in. There's no confusion. We sat down and wrote this. We know exactly, I signed all the documents in this paper, so I know what we were asking for. Whether it gets presented that way, that's in other people's hands. And, you know, it got ugly really quick.
It seemed like there was some confusion.
Okay, and if you're confused, so I want the requests from the community, you know, so we can get these down, get a good variance on here, you know, because there are laws of what's necessary, and the Board of Supervisors can help us with those laws. We don't have to have paving right away. We can do the skirting or the parking spaces with the DG. We can do, there's any number of things. They have the power. They can make us do it all, or they can make us do none of it. But it's up to them, but it's also up to us. And it's up to you guys. And obviously, you guys didn't like what was possibly being presented at that time with what was the minimum amount of 2 handicap parking spaces. And I told you that's not going to occur. I don't care if they allow me to do that. I'm going to put a 100 by 20-foot skirt out there. So that's, as from what I'm feeling now, that's what I am going to be pushing for when I talk to have this rewritten. What I don't want it to do is to be so rewritten that it has to go back to planning and zoning. And that's why I have to work with them. We have to work with them, obviously, and figure out what's going to push you so far back that planning and zoning has to look at it again and to stay in that happy medium, yes.
The only other thing I would ask you guys to do is to light it up better out there.
Is,
To light it up better out there?
oh, yes.
I mean, because you just got these 3,
Yeah, and I have floodlights out. If you look up top, I have floodlights, and they're on the switch, and I can turn them on right now. But we've done that in the past. They're not legal. They're not Twilight, Arizona State, blah, blah, blah. These are all the things that we're going to run into as a group. For everything that they're going to require us to do, it's going to have to be at that maximum level. We're going to have to get the lights like they have over, you know, at the dollar store. You know, because those are the legal ones that are required and stuff. This is things that are secondary to us needing to get that use permit done. We've got to do that. Without that, we're done. So I'm asking you right now, this is the question I was asking, what is going to allow this to move on so that we can start worrying about the flagpole? I want a flagpole. I want a sign. I want lights. I've told you I want this whole place paved. You know, you guys saw the Fame truck out here. I'm going to allow them to use this place to sit any vehicle they want because they're going to give us material. They're going to help it. You know, you want to make friends with all these people so that they can help you out. You know, I believe Richard had asked me prior to most of this stuff, isn't there a way that we can have these things done on time frames? Was that you at one of the meetings? Someone had, I have it in your notes actually, that someone had asked. Was that you, Jerry? And yes, that is exactly what the variances do. They say, okay, we're going to do this portion in this amount of time. We're going to come back and look. If you're not there, we're going to start squeezing you again. And you have to get that done so you can move on to the next one. That's what it's all about. So let's get over this first hurdle so we can move on.
Yeah, I have a question on that.
Yes.
Didn't they talk about, and one of the concerns about flooding, if you only do a portion instead of the majority of it. There's a flood problem out here in general.
Correct. Is there a flood problem out here?
Okay.
There is. It's been here for 100 years. There is a flood problem. What I think they were trying to talk about when they redo Marblehead, they will have to fix that. We will be mandatory, we'll have to tie into that. Guess what? We'll have to tie into that correctly. So we'll have to fix that also. One of the major things is if you pour concrete or put pavement down, you don't have the absorption anymore. So they're worried that now it's going to run off and do just what it does today. It does it right now. Everybody out there has a problem with flooding. So we're not really going to hurt things. Obviously, the flood control is going to say, yeah, you are going to hurt things because, yeah, you're not going to get the absorption. You're going to get the runoff from paving. So the more we pave, the more they'll look at where our water is going from this location. And you know where it goes right now, right out there. And that is not our property. That's the easement. Our fence line, if you go outside here, look at the neighbor's fence. We're 25 feet off of the street. You know, yes, we're going to have to, anything we do here, we're going to have to fix stuff for the county, for the roads and all that. That's, again, that's a secondary hurdle. That's something we got to talk about when we get to that. What's our primary objective? Getting this building to be switched over for the use permit. Yes?
I have two questions. Do you need to get the pavement done before you start on the interior?
No, all that will have to be done at the same time. That will be on the same, when and if we get the county to approve the change of use permit, then we will have to adhere to all the requirements necessary for this building to be an A3 occupancy, which is a community center. Double sheetrocks, smoke detectors in proper locations, the paving, everything that's on the sheet that we had gone over with them prior to our application. Everything that was given to planning and zoning, you know, and that they were referring to them. We have a list of a lot of things that need to be done. Were you here when the library was possibly coming in here? The county was thinking about a library. They came in here, looked at the building. Building's in great shape. They said, this is how old? Great shape, great building. They were going to need to make the same things, requirements that we're going to have to do. And what did they say? Anybody? They couldn't afford it. The county couldn't afford to do that. And they're asking us to do it. We will do it. We need to cut it into sections that they will be able to accept and swallow and that we'll be able to. And there'll be time restraints, hopefully time restraints that we meet and we move forward.
My second question is this. You're speaking of stipulations as far as paving the whole parking lot once Marblehead got paved. To my recollection, they said they would do the apron. Marblehead is a private street, so that would have to be done by the owners up and down the street. So that would be counted. So the chances are Marblehead ever being paved is in the
It's very interesting that they put that in there when they don't even know. They put that in there. They don't even know the thing. But they could put an apron.
I think this is an apron.
Yeah, we can move our entrance over there. There's any number of things to do. So, like you're saying, they said if Marblehead ever gets paved, we have to connect it. Well, that's great. We'll do that. You know, and hopefully we'll be able to do stuff prior to that.
Well, I never heard them say when Marblehead gets paved.
That's from planning and zoning. If you want the minutes from planning and zoning.
I understood.
Yeah.
The apron, because if they do the flood control and stuff like that, they would tie the apron, redo the apron, tie that into your pavement or wherever you get accomplished, as well as this dirt path in over here on the southwest corner.
Which is something that they would then say, hey, you said in your stipulation that when we did this, you do that. And then we proceed with that.
All right.
I mean, I'm here for you guys. We gotta get this done.
So at this point, you want a big vote?
We can't really have a vote. It's not on the agenda. And I'm going to, you're not having another meeting before the 19th, I believe. When I'm going in on Friday the 19th. So what I'm looking for is, you know, trying to satisfy some things here, because after I go and do that, we're going to have the same thing. It's going to come out. I'll present it to you as to what our new stipulations might be. They might not accept it, you know, because they've already heard of some of the problems that have come up from our other stipulations. I hope you understand that the stipulation that I had in there to complete ADOT's 2 things, that's like, whoa, you're going to let us do that? To get started, you're going to say do that? I'll agree to that every day. But I told you guys I'm going to do more. If they agree on that one, great. I'm going to do 100 by 20. I told everybody that. I sat in front of the board of supervisors and told them that I was doing 13. Who's there? Did I tell them I was doing 13 spots? Did I tell you I was doing 13 spots? Planning and zoning has it written in their thing. I'm doing 13 spots. So if it's, I don't care what they come up with. You only have to do 2. So I'm doing 13. Now, you want that written in the variances? Okay, I'll put that in there, the 13 spots. That's a bargaining chip for us to say, okay, we're going to do, that's what they are, they're bargaining chips. I had it there in my pocket, but the system wasn't allowed to be completed. And so they didn't say no, they didn't say yes, we didn't get a time to go back and forth with different things. So I'll be going with Steve and with Tammy's name? I think Tammy. We're going to talk again. We're going to figure out which one of these we can present so we can get this thing moving. Keep that in mind. The number one priority is to get this place switched over because, the use permit has expired. And the new one has to be a community center, an A3. And then we have to get in here and start doing some work.
I think if you listen to us, like I said, yes, I'm for moving forward, but I would like the parking spaces.
The parking spaces.
I mean, parking spaces paid.
Yes.
I mean, if you listen to Richard, he said like basically the same thing. Yes, we want to move forward. We would like to see the parking
Spaces paid.
Right, and that's.
And that was a huge thing because I'm sitting there hearing that I told everybody I was going to pave the parking lot. That's what I heard from the chairman. You said, it's in the paper that I told you guys that I was going, did you guys read it?
Where?
Read it in the paper. The board meeting says right there, Chairman Brown told me that I told everybody that I was going to pave this parking lot. I said I was going to pave the spaces because we can do that. The parking lot, we might get there. That would be wonderful. I have kids, I have friends, Fame, we're going to be as nice to them as we can because they got a lot of material and, there's things that can happen. What has to happen right now? We have to get this thing switched over. So I'm going to represent it. I'll let you know what we come up with and we're going to have another meeting. We'll get on their agenda.
Well, I would assume that consensus of the group is everyone wants to move forward for the community center.
Yep. That's what we want to do.
Consensus of the group.
And I know that's what everybody wants to do. And that was an interesting hurdle, and I was looking around like, wow, a lot of people are, this would be cool. And it didn't turn out very cool. So, I hadn't heard about it prior to, and these are things that we've got to talk about. They can't be talked about in front of the board. Yes.
I think we also want transparency
Exactly.
and accountability and.
I mean, I have not answered anything I've ever been asked.
No, but we've asked me for an accountability of where the money's gone all these years, and there's never been an answer.
Well, if I put a Gmail website out there, a written request for a financial statement will get you the current financial statement. That's the law. I have to do that. Has anybody here given me a written request for a financial statement? Anybody?
We didn't realize it, but we were in court.
Use a Gmail account. I wrote it on the board last meeting when we had our PowerPoint presentation. Tell me I didn't do that.
So are you saying the only way that anybody can get a hold of financial records is have to do a written request? They can't come to you and say,
they can come to me, I have one right here. But we want to do things right, don't we?
Do you want to share that financial record?
I want to. I want, why? Because we had it up there, we told them that. I got one request.
I'm sorry, apparently nobody saw it, so maybe
No.
we should have said it.
See, it's interesting because guess what? I got a request.
You thought what?
I got a request.
You did get it.
I did. And I gave it to them. I got a written request. So I'm sitting here thinking, no,
You are part of our community, correct?
I am. I built this department a hell of a time.
So good, we'd like to meet you tomorrow.
Hey, you guys are now the hub. It used to be the fire department, now it's P.A.C.O. So,
Okay, so
after the 19th meeting, I'll tell you what we hopefully hammered out. And I'm sorry I can't give you the name of the individual that requested the stuff. I can tell you who it is, but I'm sure I need to get his permission to tell you that he got it.
Are 501c3s, are they not like public record?
They are a financial statement.
So
The most
would your
current amount-
statement be on the IRS website? I mean, if
Yes,
it's
it
public
would.
record.
We have to give it to every time. So it's kind of weird. We're going to be up for something that is accessible. It's
So what I'm saying, if these people went to the IRS website, they pulled up your 501c3 by your EIN, your financial records.
they should be able to be there.
Do you do the postcard filing?
I would have to ask Pete. And another way around that also, if we had a website and posted it, then we wouldn't have to receive written requests. We posted it, we're done.
Would
We
you
don't have that.
just consider bringing them to every meeting and just handing them out?
That could be a consideration, a month,
So everybody can see them and.
I'll have to see when they're done, because I don't think they're done monthly. So it might be quarterly or that kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. And like I said, we'll let you continue your things. I will leave you one of them, because I do have one here.
Hey, Jeff, can I ask one last?
Yes.
Easy question for you. Once it is approved, okay, assuming it'll be approved, time frame to do the work would be a year, 18 months of the outside, you think?
They actually tell us that we have to have it done in 6 months. So if there's going to be a crunch, and that's something that you can work on in your variances. It's like, you're going to give me 6 months to do this? Can we get, can 6 months and you go again? Because we have to talk to building, the planning and zoning and stuff. It's going to take us 3 months to get a set of plans. I mean, if you guys know what an engineered set of plans takes, and boom, half of your time is gone waiting around for an engineered set of plans. Do you guys understand what we're just talking about of what we needed out here? Of the financial records, do you understand that? I had one request, so I know somebody heard me, and we sent it out to them. And then I just keep hearing that we're hiding money and stuff in our pockets. It's like, I've been here forever, but as you said, I am a resident of Paulden. I've lived here 20 years. I started this fire department. I started P.A.C.O with me. We've all been here. We've all been here. There's no animosity here. I do sense a lot. I guess there's a Facebook page where I was called a Nazi the other day. I locked the doors on you guys. I have never denied access to this building to anyone that's supposed to be here at the time they're requesting it. If you're supposed to be here, you're here. If you're not supposed to be here, call me if you're going to walk in on another meeting or something, okay? Did I not give you guys, you're getting in. Guess what? These combos are going to be different tomorrow. You're not going to be able to get in unless you call me. We need accountability. Things disappear. It's not going to happen anymore. People aren't going to be there when they're not supposed to. And I'll let you in. Tell me you're here so we know who's here and when.
Do we have an inventory?
There was hundreds of people that had keys to this place. going out of this building, don't put it in here. That's what I tell people who use the building.
I guess someone thought that some of the stuff that Mark Paulden belonged in this building, and it looked like some people were enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I see those orange chairs at yard sales. I know who those are, we painted them.
And our tables, they're
Yeah.
totally disappearing. I mean,
You know, it was hard, now it will be a lot easier, because they can't get in. No one can get in now unless they call that number.
I think that is probably a good move, as long as we get hold of you so we can get in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you in. Call me and tell me you stand at the door if you are not scheduled to be here. I'm telling you, hey, I need to do this. Okay, here's the comment. You know, I can set them for one-time use. I can set them for lots of different things. But we need accountability. Everybody needs accountability. That's what I'm getting beat up for all this other stuff. So we got to pass that down too. You know, so let me find that statement
And I think we
then
need security cameras, so we can see the neighbors stuff.
that would be neat.
Yeah, it would.
Then we probably need lights for the security cameras. I thank you all very much. I need to hear from you guys on all this stuff so we don't run into that again. We got to work together. This is the community center. Everybody. Paulden volunteerfire@gmail.com. And I will get that.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for letting us use the building tonight. That was very
That's what it's for.
Yep.
I have never denied anybody the use of the building, I never will, and I'll never charge anybody. There's no money that come out of the community to support this place, and I don't want anybody gaining money for it. Yes.
We have birthday parties here?
Yes. I'm having, there's a baby shower next month.
And I think wedding receptions.
Wedding receptions, all that good stuff. The person that's using the building needs to supply proof of insurance. That's it. Everybody that uses this building needs proof of insurance. You call your homeowner's insurance and say, hey, I'm holding a party at a different location. Will you cover me? It's an umbrella payment. Will you cover me? And I'm having it at this location. If you're insured for that event. And they'll give you a one-time rider on an event that covers you. So remember, you guys have it.
Yes, and we have it, and when we had the circus, we had the riders who were across the street and down here where we parked. And that cost us 2 riders, and it was $50.
This is a community center. It's for anything anybody wants to do here. I have never turned down.
Legally.
Well, I haven't been here for all the events. Yeah.
And you might notice that we're up on another top listing on the thank you very much list.
Oh.
Yeah, believe it or not, you're up there. Okay, well, we're a little bit longer than our 8:30 target. Is there any other business that you can think of that needs to come before us before we adjourn? Hearing nothing, we are adjourned.